Caroline here. I have a cookie tip for you if you care to hear about it. I'm going to be shipping some cookies to a friend, and I made 3 batches, but only one of them turned out. So here's what happened. First batch is this one right here. Let's get a close look at it. You can see, let me get one of the whole cookies. You can see that the middle is like very raw looking, and the edges, I mean, when it was coming out of the oven, it didn't look that dark and weird in the middle. It looked actually very cooked and finished. But once they cooled down, I noticed that they were very raw. They're kind of like bendy and, you know, soft. So anyway, undercooked. Second batch, overcooked. I think I left them in for like just a minute too long, but that shouldn't have been a issue because I was pretty much babysitting them closely. And these are just, now they're fully cooled down, and they're impossible for me to bite into. So really, really hard. I can't give those away. So at this point I was thinking like, well, how is it that I did these under and they looked perfect, and then just like a minute more they come out like overcooked? How can I balance it out? So I went back to my recipe, and I found that the temperature, I don't know if you can see right there, I had it at 350. So at this point I had another batch of cookies to go into the oven, and so I changed it to 375, and I put the third batch in, and I believe that these came out perfect. I don't want to say perfect because what I don't like is that they're still very thin. Let's see if you can see that. They're still very thin. They still have that almost underbaked look in the very middle, but not quite as bad as the first batch right there. So anyway, these are actually pretty good. These are, once they're completely cool, I'm going to cut them apart and send them to my friend. So what do you do with 2 bad batches of cookies? One undercooked, one overcooked. Here's my tip. I'm going to put this whole thing into a Ziploc bag, and I'm going to have it on the counter. And if we want to nibble on cookies, we could just nibble around the outside edge right here, and then just throw out the middle piece. So these are not totally a waste. The overcooked ones I'm going to put into my food processor, and I'm going to zip them through until they're just like big chunks and crumbles. And that can go into a Ziploc bag, into my freezer, into the baking section. And then anytime I make something like a cake with a I can use this as a garnish for cakes or banoffee pie, or I can sprinkle it on top of my ice cream. It'll be a nice yummy toffee crunch. So this is not a waste. And then of course the third one is going to get packaged up and sent to my friend, along with some other sugar cookies that I'm going to make because I don't have enough to send. Anyway, if you would like the toffee recipe, sorry about the shadow, there it is right there. And don't forget, the back side has more. I always forget to say, you also need some mini chocolate chips and some Heath toffee bits. I use 2 bags of Heath toffee bits because this is actually a doubled recipe. If I'm ever going to go through all the work of making a batch of cookies, I always double it. I do the same thing with big dinners and, you know, things that are involved. So anyway, that's my tip for today.